Hello, everyone. Welcome, guys. Good morning. Welcome to training, continuation of our last class. Okay, so far we have covered quite a number of things. We've looked at, Forex reports. We've even looked at, we built our first report and we've tried to optimize it. So we've learned how to use the FX Premier platform. We built the first EA using the exponential moving average as the conditions. And we also optimized it to basically use a dynamic stop loss instead of fixed stop loss. So what we're going to be doing today is we're going to now look to combine multiple EAs, multiple moving average, not moving average, multiple conditions, right? So multiple indicators. In the first one, we used two moving average. So we're going to see how we can use moving average, and then we'll use something else to it. So with the idea behind this, you can add more conditions. So you can use moving average, you could add it with stochastic, add with RSI. You can layer conditions of conditions that need to be met before a trade is executed. So stay tuned, it's going to be interesting. And as usual, the file will be uploaded on the Google Classroom, and you can download it for test purposes, right? So remember, this is for educational purposes. This is not about building a Forex report or building a Forex report that would be profitable. Now it's about showing you how you can optimize or build your own Forex EA. Okay, so if you're watching from, remember to leave a thumbs up and also subscribe. Let's see if we can get to 1,000. Okay, now what we're going to be doing today, in the last time, we looked at the market and said, oh, well, when the market is bullish, right? So in a bullish market, let's say the market is moving from bullish to bearish, like so. If we add moving averages on top, so let's say the yellow moving average is the 10 EMA. It would look something like this. So price, it would basically be trading price, even though my line is not the best, okay? So let's say we have a 10 period moving average. It would be trading price, let's say something like this, okay? And then, so let's say something like this. And then if we add another moving average, let's say the 20 period moving average, because it has a bigger period, it will be a little bit further. And then when the market is bullish, it would stay below the 10 period moving average. However, when the market becomes bearish, it will cross above the 10 period moving average. And we decided that we can use this crossover. So we can use this crossover period or crossover areas as confirmation to enter a buy or enter a sell. And that was what we did in the first section of our bots that we built. So we use the conditions we use are just the moving average, so the 10 period moving average and the 20 period moving average, or the 20 period moving average and the 10 period moving average as conditions. So what we're going to do today is we're going to lay on top of that. We're going to still use the 10 period and the 20 period moving average as conditions, but we'll add another condition. You know how you can use multiple indicators to basically solidify your bias behind a certain thing. Okay, so what we're doing with regards to today's class or today's to this particular video is we're going to be adding the RSI. So the RSI indicator, don't mind my writing, right? And you know what the RSI is? It's a oscillator. It's basically an oscillator that tracks basically price movement, so relative strength, the strengths, right? So relative strength index. And at the upper band, we'll probably use something like 70 or 80. We can always be flexible. And at the lower band, we'll use something like 20 or 30. Okay, so we're basically looking for something like this. So in a situation where prices, what we want to see is when price is above the upper band and on the higher time frame, right? So basically, this E is going to be a little bit nice, right? So we're going to look at the higher time frame and the current time frame. So we'll use a higher time frame as our let's say we use a daily chart, for instance, as our higher time frame. However, we'll be looking for entry criteria on the, let's say, the 1 hour chart. So if, for example, on the daily chart, prices above 70 or something like you call overbought. So if price is above or equal to this particular or specific area on the daily charts, now what we want to do is, so we're expecting that price should begin to come down, right? So on the daily chart, price is above. So we're expecting price to begin to come down. So what we want to do is go on the lower time frame, on our entry time frame, which would be like a 1 hour. So remember, this can be applied to, let's say you're using 4 hours, your higher time frame, and then you can use 30 minutes as your lower time frame. It doesn't really matter. 1 week as your higher time frame, daily as your lower, it doesn't matter. But you get the idea. So on the lower time frame, we now want to look for the crossover. So if prices above, let's say the 70, RSI 70, and then on the daily time frame, on the 1 hour chart, we want to see the 10 period moving average cross above the 20. So we want to see the 10 period cross below the 20, because now we're looking for sell, right? So if this is happening if this here is happening on the daily charts, we want to see this happen on the 1 hour charts to enter sell, so that we can trail, follow price downward. And then the opposite would be if price is, below, let's say the 20 or 30 on the RSI, on the daily charts, we want to be looking for buys. And so what we want to see on the lower time frame or our entry time frame would be for the slow period or the fast period moving average to cross above the slow, that is the 10 above the 20. Now remember that all of these values that we're using are it's not about the values, it's all about figuring out the back testing and figuring out what works for you, and then you can put in the right thing there. So what we're going to do is we're going to try and build this. It's going to be interesting, don't worry. We'll see how we'll go through that. This video would be probably a little bit lengthy, because there are a number of conditions that need to be met, and I'll try and do my best to explain them as well as possible, so that everybody is able to follow along. So first thing we want to do, like we did in the other time, now I'm not going to go through over everything again. Remember, you can always rewatch the previous videos. So first off, we want to put in our no trade. So if there are no trades, then we want to look for conditions to get into positions. Okay. So the first thing we'll do is, if there are no trade, right? So if there are no trades, then we want to now set the conditions for no trade. So we'll click on no trade. Everything should stay the same, either buy or sell. It's fine. Okay. Now, next up is, what is the condition? So I'm not going to also go over using what they call it, flowchart. I'm not going to start drawing flowchart and all for this because I don't have the time for that. Okay, so what we're going to, not about having the time for that, you always know how to do that. You can always rewatch the previous video. Okay. Okay, so now what we'll do is, so if there are no trades, let's just rename this to say buy or sell. Okay, no trade, buy / sell. Okay. Now, if there are no trade, what do we want to do now? I'm just going to go over here. So this is what we are trying to accomplish, right? So this is daily chart, right? So we have our 10 and the 20 period moving average, right? So if, for instance, on the daily time frame, we don't care about the moving average, right? We do not care about the moving average on the daily time frame. However, what we care about on the daily time frame is the RSI indicator. So in this particular instance here, when price is above 70, let me make this a darker color. So here, when price is above the RSI 70 line, we want to be looking for selling opportunities on the 1 hour time frame. And then when price is below or equal to or below the 30 RSI, we want to be looking for crossovers to the buy side to enter buys. Okay, so let me show you what an example would look like here. So for instance, where is my line to? I'll just take this vertical line. So at this point, I'm going to, where is the line? Okay, so at this point, something like this. Something like this. Okay. Now, so from here, basically what I'm trying to do is just highlight the period. So as price is above this, on the daily time frame, as the RSI is above the 70, right? So what we want to be looking for within that area is selling opportunity. Okay. Now remember, we don't want to just sell because our RSI is above 70. We want to confirm that, and that's why we're going to still use the EMA. All right. So within that period, and let me see, where did this happen? Let's see this period. Okay, so let me add that here too as well. Right. So what I'm going to do now is let's go down to the 1 hour time frame. So you note that zone, or that area, not zone, that area that we just highlighted, and we'll try and go back there, right? So that was where you, how far back was that? Okay, so that's it here. Okay, so let me zoom in. Okay, yeah, that's you. Okay, let's drag you down. Okay, now remember, on the what do you call it, on the 1 hour RSI, you can see that prices would also do its own thing. So we're not on the 1 hour, we're not interested in the RSI, right? Because price on the daily, so within this period here on the daily time frame, price is overbought. RSI is above or equal to 70. So what we're looking for is confirmation. Now, in this particular example, the green moving average is the 10 EMA, and the blue moving average is the 20 EMA. So what we want to see is a point where the 10 EMA cross below the 20, as long as price is within this area here, right? As long as price is within this, what you call it, within this region here. Okay. Now, remember, this whole exercise here is mainly for test purposes, basically to help you get into the idea of how you can combine multiple conditions together. Now, you notice that, yes, price was oversold, or sorry, overbought from around this area, like RSI was above 70, but there was no confirmation to buy. You can see that there has been no crossover, and we just keep following price, following price, following price. So what we expect our EA to do is, you can see at this point here, where the green moving average crossed below the blue one, which is where the 10 crossed below the 20, that is the point where a trade should be taken. Okay, that's the point where we want to see a trade executed. Now, if we find, now you can see that that is still, it should still be within the time frame, or within the zone where the RSI is still above, what do you call it, is still above, the daily RSI is still above 70 or equal to 70. So at this point, we want to be able to open a trade. And then in this particular instance, we're going to use stop loss or fixed stop loss and take profits instead of using dynamic. So we might do something like open the trade, stop loss, let's say 40 pips, and take profits, let's say 80 pips. So 1:2, or let's stop loss 30 pips, 8 profits. It doesn't matter. The point is, we want to be able to build this, and whenever it happens like that, we want to be able to want the EA to be able to make decisions and execute the trade just like we intend. Okay, so let's try and build that together. Okay. So first of all, we say if there are no trades, right, buy or sell, what do we want to do? So we're going to just lay down the conditions. So there are going to be a number of conditions. We're going to need the RSI conditions for the daily time frame. Also going to need the moving average conditions for the entry time frame. So the daily, when I say daily time frame, it can be the higher time frame, whatever time frame you choose to use it on. So we're going to just rename this as RSI condition, RSI buy condition. Okay. And what we're going to do is we're going to set what the conditions should be. Now, I'm going to show you something in this particular video with regards to using constants and declaring them, okay? So that we can obviously modify them. So what here, this place that says constant and input, we can obviously click on it. Now, but before I do that, let's close this first, okay? So what the kind of indicator we're looking for here is, indicator, the kind of indicator here is RSI, so relative strength index. Where's that? So that's relative strength index. Okay, we'll leave it at 14 period. We'll set it to the close price, and then, but under more settings, instead of using time frame current, we're going to set time frame to daily, right? So we're going to set time frame to daily, meaning that this would, even, it doesn't matter if this is applied on a 1-minute chart. This condition will be checking the daily RSI. Okay, we can obviously check this box. The reason for checking this box is so that in case we want to adjust it from to 4 hour or something like that, or 1 week, we can see the option in the input parameters. Okay, so we're going to set candle ID to 1. Okay. So if basically what we're saying here is if the daily RSI that has for the daily 14 period RSI is greater than. So for buying condition, what's our buying condition? Our buying condition is when the RSI is less than 30. Okay. So this is where we want to, when the higher time frame RSI is less than 30, we want to be looking for buy opportunities there. Okay. So what this would be is if the 14 period daily RSI is less than, or what we're going to do is less than or equal to. Okay. So we're going to set it to less than or equal to, and then instead of indicator, we're going to have value. Okay. So we'll set this to 30. Okay. Now, but instead of using 30 here, here's what we'll do. Okay. So under constant, I'm going to set this to integer, so the data type integer, and I'm going to name it HTF, that's higher time frame, right? So HTF, higher time frame by RSI. Oh, that doesn't make sense. Doesn't sound real. So our higher time frame RSI, I'm just put it in brackets by. Okay. So basically this value will set it to 30. So we can obviously modify this value from 30 to 40 or 30 to 25 just to get the best result based on our own testing. Okay. So we'll set the daily RSI to look for buy to 30. Okay. So we'll update. Now I can close this. And so instead of putting 30 here, I'll just right click and select. You can see that we now have that option. You can see it still has the same value of 30. Okay. So basically this condition is if the 14 period daily RSI is lower than or equal to 30, we'll update to save that. Okay. If this condition is met, well, so we'll just drag this from here to here. And then we can drag another condition out. Now, if that daily RSI condition is met, now we want to set the moving average condition. So we're going to name this EMA condition, EMA buy condition. So I can just add RSI higher time frame, just so we can HTF buy condition, and then we'll name this EMA entry time frame buy condition as well. Okay, so yeah, good. Now we're going to set the EMA condition for entry. Now we'll double click on this. Okay. Right now, what is the condition? Well, look, the condition to enter a buy is when the 10 exponential moving average cross above the 20. Okay. Now, in the same way, so we're going to be needing 10 EMA and 20 EMA. So we'll set that here. Data type, we're going to make it integer. Okay. We're going to call this let's just call it fast EMA. And we're going to give it 10. And then we'll create another one. And then we're going to call this, integer as well. Then we'll name this slow EMA. Okay, and the value of this one is going to be 20. Okay, so here I can just, in description, we can just call this, let's just call it fast EMA. And then we can also call this one slow EMA. Okay. And then we'll save that, and then I can cancel this. So basically, we're looking for the condition would be if the 10 period moving average cross above the 20. So instead of putting 5 or instead of putting 10 here and then doing cross above 20, we'll just use EMA fasts. And we're going to make sure we're looking at the exponential moving average. Under more setting, we want to set candle ID to 1. Now, in this particular instance, we're going to leave the time frame at current. It's going to be set to the current time frame, okay? And if the condition is if the 10 period moving average cross above, right? So X greater than above the 20 period moving average, but instead of typing 20, we'll use our variable, our constant that we've declared, make sure we're looking at the exponential moving average, set candle ID to 1 as well, and then we save. So basically what we've done, right, is we've said if there are no trade, right, so let me just use this. We're saying if there are no trade, that color is too dark. So if there are no trade, check the RSI of the daily time frame. If the RSI of the daily time frame is above, right, if it is greater than or equal to 70, right, if that condition is met, that's rule 1. If the condition is met, that means RSI is greater than or equal to 30, sorry, is greater than or equal to 70, right? Then we'll check the next condition. And what's the next condition? So on the lower time frame or on the current time frame or whatever time frame the EA is deployed on, we want to check if the fast moving average, right, has crossed above, as crossing above the slow moving average. And that is essentially the condition that we are looking for. And when these two conditions, so only if and only if these two conditions are met, will it open a buy. So this is the idea behind layering conditions on each other. So even if this one is met and this one is not met, there will be no trade. Or if this is met and this is not met, there will be no trade. But if both of them are met, then and only then are we looking to open a buy trade. So what we do is we connect this to this, and then go to buy now and select buy now. Okay, so buy now. Okay, and then we'll just double click here and select our parameter. So what we'll do here is under constant, we're also going to declare our variable. So instead of having so that we can obviously modify our lots, we're going to leave the data type for decimal place is double. So we're going to set to 0.1. Sorry, it's going to be called lots. Okay, and the value, not lot 0, just called lots. And then the value would be 0.1, right? And then what we'll do, we're also going to need stop loss and take profit. So we'll also add more data types. So this will be integer. Okay, we'll call it SL. Let's keep the value as 40. Okay, we'll just call it stop loss. Okay, and then we'll add take profits, so integer as well. Call it CP, and the value should be, so 1:2, let's go 80, and then take profits. Okay, so we save this or update it. We can close it now. And what we do is, okay, so here under fixed volume, just so you can see, we now have our lots, we select that, our stop loss, we select our stop loss, and take profit, we select our take profit value, and we click on update. So essentially, we have done the right side, basically the buy condition. The buy condition is totally set, okay? Okay, so now let's do the same thing for the sell side, okay? Now, to make it easier, you can obviously duplicate code. So you can just copy this and let's do copy and then paste it and then modify, change it, okay? But what I'll do is, the reason I'll not do this is I'll just redo it again, because this way it will be easier for you to follow. Obviously, you can obviously go back and rewatch it. So we're just going to set the conditions again for the sell side, okay? So we're going to say, just pick up our condition bar, right click, we're going to call this RSI HTF sell condition, okay? And then what's the condition? Just like the buy, just like for the buy, we're looking for the RSI, so relative strength index. Scroll down. Not vigor index, relative strength index. Okay. Still going to be a 14 period. We want to probably leave it at that. If you want to maybe change the period, you can also do the same thing. Maybe come here and say RSI period. Let's say you want to, maybe you don't want to use 14 period. You can obviously change it, or maybe you want to be able to modify between 14 period RSI or 13 period or 20 period. And you can obviously come here and add that, so you can modify it later. Okay. Let's just delete this one. Okay, so we can just call this RSI period. Okay, and then just make it 14. Did I spell that well? No, I didn't. Okay, and then here we can just make it 14. Okay, and then remember, we want to set it to the daily time frame, and we want to check this box so that we can modify it later. Make set candle ID to 1. Now for the sell side, the condition for the sell side is, well, we look for sell opportunity when the daily RSI is above, right? We look for sell opportunity when the daily RSI is above 70, right? And then we want to check to see that the lower time frame EMA is crossing below. So the fast is crossing below the slow. So we want to see that the daily RSI is greater than or equal to, okay? So greater than or equal to, and then set this to value, right? So greater than or equal to what? Remember our HFT. Okay, so we've not set this one. So we want to be greater than or equal to 70. So we can just put it here too as well. Make this integer, okay? And then we can just call this HTF RSI cell. Okay, and this would be 70. And I can just drag this up so that they can be together. Okay, and I'll click updates. And right now I can now see my cell RSI. Yeah, okay, I didn't spell that out right, but I can obviously go back and do that. So HTF, not HCD. Okay, and yeah, so HTF RSI cell. So we're saying if the daily RSI, the 14-period daily RSI is above or equal to 70, that's the first condition. Let me just double check that we did below or equal to 30 here. Yeah, below or equal to 30, okay? So if this condition is met, we want to check the entry time frame EMA. So EMA, let's call this entry time frame cell condition. Okay, so let's set what that condition would be. Double click on it, it opens up. We want to check the moving average. We want to see, so for the sell condition, it would be, we're looking to sell when the 10-period moving average cross below the 20, okay? And for the buy, we're looking to buy when the 10 cross above. So we're looking to sell when the 10 period, so 10 exponential moving average as the fast. Make sure it's the exponential. Make sure we're looking at candle ID 1. We'll leave current time frame to current. So if the 10-period moving average is crossing lower than, so X less than the 20 period, which is going to be the slow, make sure we're looking at exponential, and also make sure current ID, candle ID sets to 1, and we can click on updates. Okay, so essentially we've set the condition. This is the condition for the sell side. So if the higher time frame RSI, let me rename this well. If the higher time frame RSI is RSI. Okay, so if the higher time frame, we're saying if the higher time frame RSI is greater than or equal to 70, and then the on the entry time frame, we are seeing a crossover of the moving average. That's the slope, the fast period moving average is crossing below or has crossed below the slow. That is our parameter for entering a cell. So we'll pick our cell now, right? And then what we do is we just modify this. So we'll put in our stop loss and take profit value. So lots, we'll select our lots that we've done. Stop loss, we'll select. So this, you see, it's easy. Instead of typing 40 and 50, or so even if I want to change it during the lifetime of this program, I can just come back here and change it from the constant instead of having to go and modify it everywhere that I've done it. And just like that, we have built an EA using multiple conditions, and I can just put this in an area. Okay, so now we have done that. We have our EA, or what we want to do now is test it to see if it works exactly as intended. Okay, so I hope you followed properly with what what we just did. In the next video, we're going to now test what we've done. Remember how we do, you just click on to download our bots. We just click on the mq.ex4 or the .mq4 file. Okay, any of them would work, and you just download that file and then save it to your data folder. Don't worry, we'll see that together. So we're saving it now. So the name is moving average, multiple moving average indicator bot tests. Let's call this, let's give it a name that we would remember. And let's save it in a folder. Okay. So I'm just going to save it as, what do I save it as now? Anything, let's call it RSI plus EM bots. Okay, so save that as RSI plus EMA bots test. Okay, so that's the next video we're going to now set it or basically back test it using our strategy test on the MT4 and see how the point we're going to be looking for is if it's doing exactly what we want it to do. Okay, so that's it from me, guys. See you in the next video. Remember, leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you're watching this from the YouTube. Okay, cheers, have a wonderful day.